This week I've been thinking about self-trust and how that can be so difficult. How, for me anyway, it underpins self-love. I went on this journey a long time ago. Oh, must be 7 years ago, self-love. And oh my God, did I find out a lot about self-love, that it wasn't about spas. It was more about trusting myself and showing up for myself and what I call championing my future self. But this week, I've really been diving into what it means to trust yourself, and especially around my business and the business that I'm building. What a journey that's been. And if you've not been on here before, this is a diary style channel where I'm diarying things that happen to me in the real time and the ponderings that I have and what I'm learning. And where did it start for me this week? It started with this book by a guy called Nero Knowledge. I actually really love his videos when it comes to manifestation, and I love manifestation. His videos are amongst my favourites, and he's on YouTube, so you can go and watch him. But he talks about conviction in this book, and he talks about having the conviction to make something happen. And then he says that you can't really follow through on conviction without self-trust. And I agree with him, but there's so much I can talk about it. But only the week before I'd written an article about how my son had texted me saying, just go and do business, Mum. And where did that come from? He watched me leave my career about 6 years ago, and it was a great career. I was earning great money. I was successful in that career, and go on a journey where I tried out many things, including going back into for less money. And quite rightly, he's been questioning me, and I was questioning myself. And what I was finding out was that when people were questioning me or saying things about me, I was believing them over me. It was almost as if they were deciding who I was and I was believing them. But that's not the truth, really, because we only decide who we are ourselves. And why is it that we let other people, I want to say, mess with our heads? Why do we believe other people when they say things? Why do we remunerate over what they say? And why do we care so much? And it's my perception that it's because it's what we're thinking already inside. They're just giving us information of what's going on inside. And when we dig and have a look, we'll find that we've got this lack of self-trust. For the most part, from what I notice from coaching people and from spending time with other people and for digging deep within inside myself, we don't seem to have been given the tools or been in environments that helped us trust ourselves. And so, for example, when you go to school, you might be praised a lot, but you're also criticized a lot. We're told that we need to be certain ways, and we might not be that way. We're shown how to fit in, how to sit in a class for hours on end, when it might not be natural to us to learn that way. And so right from very early, we are given the ingredients for self-doubt, is what I'm seeing. I'm watching my grandson grow up at the moment. He's 2.5, and thankfully my daughter, his mum, is very aware. And it's really interesting to watch what a little sponge he is, how he takes everything on, and how he could believe whatever he's being told. And isn't that what's happened to us? We've maybe had people tell us that we're not very good at things, or that we're never going to make it in this, or all these different things. And so that's what I think is at the heart of this lack of self-trust. And I've certainly been on a journey myself in my business. I set out to have my own business in 2021, and I thought it was all going to go great. And it was actually really quite tough. I learned that we only see the overnight success and we don't see the 10 years that go behind it. And I certainly testify to that now, that there was a lot of chopping and changing and trying. And that whole time I just kept beating myself up until I landed on something that really resonated with me. And then what I noticed was that when I was questioned about that, when I was questioned, I had to have conviction to stick to it. So I decided that I didn't want to do the hustle. And that even though I'd been in sales for 30 years and I knew how to sell, and I was very successfully in sales for 30 years, I didn't want to do the same tactics. I wanted to show up in my business that was fully authentic and fully transparent, and for people to buy from me because they were getting value, not because I'd convinced them that they were going to get value. And why did I want that? I bought some things myself, but it cost me a lot of money. I've just written today an article for Substack that will be launched next Tuesday, and that's all about how I spent 36k plus VAT. It's only part of the article on a property education. And the reason I did it was because there was a guarantee at the end of it, and the guarantee would be that I would have 6 figures at the end of it. And that didn't happen. And it's a story I go into more detail over there, but why didn't it happen? It didn't happen because it didn't resonate with me. I was looking for something outside of myself. I definitely didn't trust myself at that point. I was giving away my self-authority. I wasn't sticking to what I valued. And during that time, I was writing my first book. And I was really excited about that. And I didn't have the conviction to carry on that path and really follow it through at that time. I had to have quite a lot of life lessons to get to where I am now. So none of it was wasted, but I definitely didn't trust my own self and my own instincts. I definitely didn't listen to myself, and I overrode myself. And I did that up until recently, actually. And what I found is that now that I trust myself, things are happening and it's almost as if they're magic. Things are showing up, things are stacking into place. And so how did I cultivate it? How did I cultivate this self-trust after all this time? The answer to that is multifaceted. So the first thing was to slow down. My life was absolute chaos. It was overwhelming. I was doing too many things, trying too many things, thinking that too many things outside of myself were going to give me the answers. So I slowed down. I do breath work. I purposely stopped doing things. Meditation's another good way. Calmed my nervous system down. My nervous system was geared to it was constantly in survival mode. And then the next thing I did was I turned inwards, which I'm no stranger to doing that. I've been doing self-help since I was 22 and now 57, but I really doubled down and I turned myself inwards. And I witnessed the chaos, and I journaled a lot. And I admitted to myself where I was showing up in my life that wasn't good for me, that I could see that I was addicted to drama and I was letting drama overtake my life. I could see various different things. And so I took the time to slow down, to see all that and to change my actions. And it wasn't easy. And again, over in Substack, I've written about how when we turn towards shame, it's somehow magical. We don't want to. We don't want to look at the parts of ourselves that we would prefer not to look at and admit. We would rather blame other people or look for other people to rescue us. But I can tell you that once you start looking within yourself and facing those parts of yourself, your life will just improve. It's not easy. It's quite emotional, but it will just improve. So I admitted, oh my gosh, I've been looking for answers outside of myself. I've been trying all these different things. I've not been sticking to something. So I did that. And then I got behind myself. I saw that I've created all these different exercises, these journaling exercises. I've got a system of helping you go inwards, and I committed to it. And then I realized it was going to take longer than I thought. And so I thought, okay, do you know what? I'm going to start showing up. I'm going to start showing up on camera like I am now. I'm going to start putting my exercises out there on Substack. I'm going to embody this work. And I learned the most important step beyond slowing down, then beyond calming the nervous system down, was action. And the only way that self-trust has improved in me has been by taking action. And that doesn't mean perfect action. I've been doing this all year, and I've found that I've failed almost every week. But the more I take action, the more I course correct, the more I do my own exercises, the more I show up, the more my self-trust is building. And there are areas in my life that appear to have got worse. I'll admit that. There are some people that don't resonate with me anymore, who are finding it difficult to communicate with me. And those people are people who know me from a different version of me. They've not caught up with me yet, or they want me to be a certain way. And I'm needing to stand behind my own authority and what I believe in and my self-trust. So it's causing a little bit of a wobble between us. But for the most part, I just feel better and better every day. And I've noticed that the more I stand behind what I believe in, the more I stick with my truth, the more I take action on that, the more self-trust I've got, the better my business is getting. Money started to show up when it was dry for, so long, about 2 years actually. And it's magical. So what I would leave you with is, those were the 3 steps I needed to slow down, almost to a halt, and stop everything. Recognize the chaos in my life, recognize what didn't belong anymore. Then I needed to work on calming my nervous system down, take myself out of fight, flight, freeze, learn about calming my nervous system. And you can do that with breath work, yoga nidra. There's lots of different ways. Meditation. I wrote about it in my first book, actually. And then taking action, but getting clear first on who I was. Who is Joanne Phoenix? Who are you? What do you believe in? What are your values? My values, top values, are love, freedom, and individuality. Yours could be completely different. So, and then lastly, which I think a lot of us have found difficult in the past, or do find difficult, look at people who do New Year's resolutions and they find it difficult. I followed through on who I believe myself to be. I'm taking the action. I'm showing up in conviction with the self-trust underneath. And right now I'm developing exercises and journals and articles so that people can use these tools that I've used. And they're starting over on Substack. So if you want to go over there and have a look, there's lots of free content over there. Some of it you would need to subscribe to me and pay. And keep going with these videos, because I'm not going to do them as a teaching thing. I'm just going to show up as me. I'm not going to edit them much. So feel free to fast forward a bit. I am just showing up, doing my life in real time. And it's helping me be accountable, actually, because if I say to you that I'm going to show up every week and I'm going to do this in real time, tell you the messy, tell you how I'm building this soul business of mine, we're going to learn. We're all going to learn from my mistakes. And I really welcome your comments, especially what does self-trust mean to you? What's your journey? Let's go on this ride together.